Welcome to People's Republic. I'm recording this in December of 2020. I'm Church Schlichter. I wrote the thing about 4 years ago. And wow, so much of it seems to be coming true.
Sprechen den Himmel so blau, bald schon ziehen sie sich aus der Affäre.
After a few moments and a couple turns, they reached a forgotten commercial area. Turnbull parked the Dodge on a quiet street in front of a tan Ford Taurus from the mid-2010s.
How many seats did it have? What was its number plate?
How many miles to the gallon? Grabbed my duffel and put it in the back seat of the Ford.
Is that a euphemism? Grab my duffel.
Grab a hold of my duffel and prepare to die. I'm going to siphon out the gas from this one to fill the Ford's tank. Don't do nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't say nothing. The kid nodded, and they got out of their respective doors. They got out of each other's doors. They climbed over each other to get out. Fucking hell, Kurt. Come on. God, Joe, this is all his military experience.
Oh, yeah. He knows how to get out of a car. He knows the correct procedure to alight from a car.
Vehicle alightment protocol. He got a degree in that from gun school. The kid opened the Dodge's back door and dragged a large olive drab duffel bag with a zipper across the top off of the back seat and onto the cracked sidewalk.
Oh, that was a nice sentence.
That was a rough one, Kurt. Would you not have time to go back and redo that? You're a fucking busy man, are you?
Well, he's got all of these radio shows.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Why are you still talking? Asked Turnbull, scanning the area. Nothing but old grey industrial buildings, largely abandoned. It's hard to manufacture without raw materials. He went to the trunk and popped it. That's just the narrator there.
Yeah. They're in California, right? Mm-hmm. And they've got no raw materials to construct things.
None whatsoever. Yeah, it's just a poor mismanagement. The union workers, they just do whatever they want. They cut down all the trees in California and just made birdhouses out of them. Lefties. There was movement down the street. Turnbull stepped out from behind the trunk. About 50 yards out was a scraggly man on an ancient bicycle. Plastic bags full of what appeared to be salvaged junk swinging from the handlebars.
That's what appeared to be salvaged. He's like, what do you think's in that bag? I don't know, from here it appears.
I imagine he salvaged it.
Yeah.
I can really imagine him salvaging that. That looks like something that he's recently salvaged. He was probably in his 50s. Dirty, with the look of a druggie. Oh, great. Sir, shouted the rider, now maybe 20 yards out. Sir, could you spare... No, move on.
This is our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
You look like you got some extra... Move on! The rider stopped perhaps 30 feet. He's going to kill this.
Yeah.
He's going to kill this homeless guy. Why are you so selfish? I know you got stuff. I just want a little. From behind, the kid leaned his head out. What's going on? Get your stupid ass back in the car. Turnbull snarled over his shoulder, then returned the bum's stare. Move the fuck on. Right now. This is my street. You can't just come here. Turnbull sighed and pulled back the left flap of his jacket, revealing his pistol. I'm counting to 3. The rider remounted his bike, muttering, You think you can come onto my street and run me off? Motherfucker, I'll show you what's up. Awesome. This guy would be back in a few minutes with his pals, or worse, tip off the People's Security Force that there was some guy with a non-government piece for the reward. Knocking out formerly lawful gun owners was a traditional profit centre for lowlifes after the split. They got a few bucks, and the gun owners got stuck in the prisons the new government had emptied of real criminals. Yeah, all the homosexuals.
Yeah.
Prisons.
What a fucking...
Oh my god! After loading the cans in the Ford's truck, Turnbull got into the driver's seat and turned the ignition. It started, and he offered a sigh of relief. There was no sign of the bum. Keep a lookout in case there's a gas station open. He instructed his passenger. Like that one? The kid was pointing. Parked in front of what had been a Shell was a white van, and snaking from the pump to its gas tank was a hose. Usually a station that got a fuel resupply would have 50 cars lined up out into the road. Weird. Something was not right, but they needed gas. They're gonna get attacked by fucking Lord Humongous. Just walk away.
That would be amazing.
He turned off the road and pulled up behind the van. The van's driver smiled. Hey there. Hey there. They got gas to sell? Well, no. This here's a little bit of marketing. I got gas to sell, though. How much you need? How do you know I'm not a cop? Turnbull asked. You don't look like a cop, the entrepreneur replied. How do I know you're not a cop? The seller smiled. Do I look like a cop?
Oh, this is good, isn't it?
So true to life.
Am I a cop and you a cop? Is everybody a fucking cop? I just don't fucking know.
What does a cop even look like anymore? $300 a litre. Nah, pass, thanks. I'm not feeling like being an economic criminal today. Turnbull pulled around and passed the irritated van driver and onto the street. What's he doing? Asked Turnbull. Who? That shithead. Look back. Tell me what he's doing. Looks like he's on the phone. Fuck me. Okay. We just need to get to the freeway. It's maybe 2 minutes. I thought we needed gas. We do. Except, if he's not a cop, he's working with the cops. Well, that van was full of guys to rob us the second I flashed some cash. Or best case, the gas in his cans was half water. Whatever his scam was, it was too good to be true. A beat-up black and white cruiser from the People's Security Force slowly pulled in behind them from the driveway of what used to be a luxury car dealer. Written across the rear quarter panel were the words, "Diversity is our strength."
Well, what a terrible philosophy.
Yeah. Except the V, the U, and the S had peeled off. He's now written that as well, so it says just diversity is strength. For just a moment before the light bar came alive with blue and red, Turnbull had hoped that the appearance of the cruiser was just a coincidence. Oh shit, whimpered the kid. Put your window down. What? Put your window down all the way, put your seat back and do not say a fucking word or I'll kill you myself. Turnbull pulled over to the curb in front of an abandoned saloon. The swivel door. Cowboy steps out in a duster. Is he gonna have a fucking duel with a copper?
Oh, fucking hope so.
Well, I can't wait to see what the coppers are like in this. Like, I can't wait to see the...
They'll be wearing rainbow uniforms and they'll be like really effeminate.
He had a moustache, but he also had lipstick on.
Good God! Yeah, it'll be in leather with like leather berets.
Yeah, it's all just various members of the
village
people. You can't even turn to the police anymore. This is not the America I want to be. The Blues Cruiser. Stop. The Blues Cruiser. The Blues Cruiser. It's just blue. Yeah. An animated cartoon dog steps out and starts mauling him.
That'd be amazing. Any violence visited upon this guy would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like some violence.
Yeah.
The Blues Cruiser stopped maybe 20 feet behind them and idled for a moment, but not long enough to run his plates. Both occupants got out, approaching by moving up each side simultaneously in some semblance of the proper tactical template for stopping an unknown driver. Of course, they don't have the training that he has. The Republican police, they do everything but it.
Oh yeah, of course, as we all know.
One of these will be like, pulling his belt up. He'll keep falling down, and he'll like try and run, and his pants will fall down. The fucking Keystone Cops. They did not seem afraid or even cautious. They were almost arrogant as they came forward. God,
imagine police being arrogant.
Imagine police being a bunch of arrogant bastards. Turnbull could not get a good look at the one on the passenger side. But in the mirror he could see the neck tats of the one moving up on his side. The PRNA was still hiring the cream of the crop, Turnbull knows. Yeah, imagine that. Police officers having tattoos. The People's Republic had decided that it needed to run the police force centrally. And it incorporated the local sheriffs and police departments into a national police force originally called the People's Internal Security Squads.
The piss.
Really?
That's really funny. Well done, Kurt.
When it became obvious that acronym would not work, it became the PSF, the People's Security Force. Like, how hard did he have to work to come up with that joke?
He probably spent weeks. He probably had his editor phoning him up. Like, where's the fucking book? And he's like,
we need this joke. We need one joke.
We need the piss joke, Kurt. Come on.
The People's Internal Security Squads. For a centralised police force.
Yeah.
They're not squads.
Yeah, they're not squads.
Anymore. How hard you're reaching for something.
People's internal security service, just security
service.
People's internal security service. There you go. I'm not saying, Kurt, that I'm somehow a better author than you.
I'm not saying I'm a better author than you, Kurt. I'm saying I'm a better human being.
Yeah.
And also I am saying cops were key villains in the left's rogues gallery, and most police officers and deputies quickly saw the writing on the wall and left, heading to the red states before the borders closed. Yeah, I fucking believe that. That left just a few professionals to address a lot of crime, from freed prisoners and the refugees fleeing the welfare reforms in the red states. They flocked to the blues, where the people's government doubled benefits in an effort to fight inequality and racism, as well as, apparently, individual initiative and fiscal stability. I fucking love to whack this cunt in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
I love Minecraft.
Yeah, I love
to
Minecraft.
play Minecraft.
Yeah, man. I got a new control pad for Minecraft. It's chambered in 45.
Sixth generation Glock 19 Minecraft. In refilling the ranks, the people's government decided to prioritise diversity, and evidently dirtbags constituted an important part of society that was previously shamefully underrepresented in law enforcement.
Oh yeah, no, being a fucking scumbag is currently shamefully underrepresented in law enforcement.
They wouldn't stand for that in the police departments of America.
Fucking rapist Nazi gang members.
Yeah.
A lot of people join the police because they know it shields them from ever having to face consequences for the monstrous shit that they would have done anyway.
Yep. Go on, Kurt. Address the reality. Address the domestic violence. They're there to police, usually non-white communities, to keep them poor and to keep them in their place. And it's all perfectly in accordance with Kurt Schlichter's worldview. Mm-hmm. He will paint you a picture of America as it currently stands, but switch out the races and expect you then to lose your mind and go out and just endorse fascism to prevent black people from voting. But has no problem with the injustice as it stands, no problem with the criminality and the corruption as it stands, because as long as it benefits him, it must be good. Like, explain to me how arguing that diversity will make police forces more corrupt and criminal isn't racist. How can it not be? What other point could you possibly be making? Here they come. It's the People's Internal Security Squad. They're here to piss all over us.
So chapter 1 is like a quarter of the fucking book.
And then the book ends in chapter 2. You couldn't afford to put chapters in. They had to just have a solid text. There's no punctuation. It's too expensive. This is unbelievable. The People's Security Force long ago abandoned hiring standards, and they trained to somewhere lower than the lowest common denominator. But that was sufficient for the People's Security Force's primary task of bullying hungry, cold and disarmed people. Again, this is literally what all of these books do when they try to paint this like dystopian world.
Yeah.
They just describe the one as it currently
exists. Well, not only do they
exists.
describe the world that currently exists, they describe the world that they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Describe what they already
It's,
support.
the only problem they have with the world as it exists now is that it isn't more like this, but with them in charge.
Yeah.
So of course their nightmare world is their dream world, but with gays in charge.
Exactly. Yeah.
The People's Bureau of Investigation was a different story. The government ensured the PBI had the best of everything, but these PSF patrolmen were neither trained nor equipped to take on a professional. I wonder who he means by that. Yet they were still dangerous. They both carried holstered, battered Berettas from back when their organisation was still known as the LAPD. That hallowed, sacred, incorruptible LAPD. Where's your ID? The one at his window demanded. The other parked himself at the kid's window, framing himself nicely. Got it here? Turnbull handed over a very expensive fake he had prepared by his guy in Houston. The name on the card was Charles Schooley. What's with the names in this? Why are they all so shit?
Charles
Schooley and Kelly Turnbull. What the hell?
Fuck?
Like, I do just want to say as well, like, I'm absolutely certain we are going to just have a pure Barry Rivers moment here, where our hero is about to murder two police officers. But remember, Joe, this is not some fantasy that he really wants to live out. No, that's not Joe. That's not a vulture thing. No.
This isn't just like his wank bank as a novel.
He lived in the western sector and had a privilege level of 7, a number that indicated he was not quite untouchable. respectable, but normally you would not mess with him. Apparently, today was not normal. You tried to buy illegal gas back there. He offered it to me. I turned him down. You calling him a liar? I'm just telling you what happened. You think you can come out here and do whatever you want? You think you're special? I don't give a fuck about your PL. You're no fucking 7. I know you bought this shit. You think you can buy everything? And who the fuck is this little bitch with you? Your butt boy? Yes. So they're now homophobic.
Yeah, I thought they were all gay.
That is the point. I don't understand.
No, the point isn't that they're homophobic and that's bad. It's that they just insinuated that...
Oh, of course, that the main character...
The manly man is gay.
Yes, of course.
That's the point.
That's the
that's
the
a disgusting
line
thing to say,
crossed, yeah. I'm just trying to drive home, okay? Get the fuck out of the car. From the corner of his eye over the terrified kid, Turnbull could see the cop's smiling partner cup his earphone. Turnbull could make out a few words. About 60 seconds to your 20 over. 1 minute. All right. So now it's gonna go how it's gonna go. I'm getting out, Turnbull said. Hurry up, said the cop, never having been taught, or not remembering, to stand back and put some space in between himself and the suspect. Turnbull shut his eyes for a moment, ran through his plan, and then opened the door slowly, pushing it all the way out. The cop stepped back just a bit, but not far enough. Turnbull stood up to his full 6'3" height, deliberately.
6'3", that's not, I mean...
Yeah, Joe, he didn't want to get too ridiculous.
Yeah. It's usually about 6'6" or so, isn't it? 6'7", you know.
Turnbull stood up to his full 6'3" height, deliberately and smoothly, doing nothing to spook them, until his left hand shot back, grabbed the cop's utility belt, and pulled the stunned thug forward and around into the V between the door and the body of the Ford.
So he's just grabbed the cop and dragged
him by his duffel.
Yeah. He's toppled the cop.
As Turnbull drove his full weight into the pseudo-cop to pin him, he drew the Glock with his right hand and
So
swung
hold up,
it.
so what you're saying then is if you don't recognise the authority of a police force, then you don't then you can murder them.
Yeah, then they're not the
yeah.
police force, and you should kill them.
So those people in Portland, for example, they're bad.
Because they burned down a police station.
For what?
and shit.
Why are they bad?
It's an illegitimate occupying force. Like
Yeah.
the United States government is an illegitimate
Yes.
occupying force.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie, Kurt! Whoopsie! As Turnbull drove his full weight into the pseudo-cop to pin him, he drew the Glock with his right hand and swung it into the passenger compartment. It roared twice inside the car, the hollow point round streaking over the kid and into the chest plate of the other pseudo-cop's body armour. The pseudo-cop.
Oh,
this is the thing. He's just gonna
he will not just say, I'm
won't
killing
call
cops
them
and it's
cops,
alright to
yeah.
give up. He has to drive them. They're not really cops because they're gay.
And I do not recognise them as
Yeah,
real
yeah.
police officers who would be harassing a black man.
Yeah,
at this
exactly,
point.
exactly.
The pseudo-cop staggered back and fell, the 9mm bullets pounding his chest plate like sledgehammers. So here's the question, guys and gals, and everyone in between. Is he going to kill these police officers? The plate caught the bullets there. Is he going to leave them or is he going to just execute them? This is going to tip us off as to what the rest of the novel is going to be like.
I think he's going to let them live because even though they're just pseudo-cops, it's still a line he's not willing to cross.
I am going to
Guaranteed you just fucking, guaranteed you just dumb shots.
I'm going to make the
both of
cool
them,
decision, and I'm going to say he's going to fucking blow their brains up right now.
Alright, well, let's see how it goes.
So, keep your fingers crossed. Turnbull pivoted and brought the pistol out and up under the pinned one's chin. The pinned one felt it and knew he was screwed. But his self-critique ended a half second later as Turnbull put a round up through his jaw, tongue and soft palate into his brain. The pseudo-cop sagged and collapsed like a bag of warm, wet meat. Well, we settled that one pretty quick.
Literally, he's just going to dome shot on him and he just actually did. Now he's going to walk around the side of the car and
just pop the other one.
Execute him, yeah.
Wow, this is Rig Warrior levels of opening.
Yeah, fuck
Like,
me.
Rig
Yeah,
Warrior,
yeah,
I
yeah,
still
yeah.
feel like obviously True Allegiance had that great opening where the old man gets seared in half.
It's a bridge
Obviously-
collapse, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
72
I'm
version.
suggesting that an old man being seared in half would be better if another person
Human
did it
did
to
it.
him.
Yeah.
Which it would.
Yeah, I guess it would be. 72 versions had the incredible like Oedipal opening.
Oh Christ, that was fuck. Yeah, like, he literally mentions like erect penises and children in
Yeah,
the same
immediately,
sentence,
yeah.
and it's like, oh,
I can't remember how Trump Tower actually opens, to be quite honest. All I remember is Frank Sinatra being in literary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Rig Warrior kind of still has a place in our heart just because the opening is so good.
Yeah.
Like the way he just immediately, literally commits multiple murders.
And then taunts the police.
And then taunts the police.
And then sending letters to the police.
And then like, just goes on the run, basically. And then the rest of the story, he is still kind of wanted for that, but we're just never going to bring it up again. I mean, we're on track for
Rig Warrior levels of fuckery,
like Shadow Wolf levels here. We wanted Shadow Wolves to be more like the Rig Warrior. This might have what it takes.
Time will tell.
Oh my god. Oh, this is getting better. Oh my, this is getting so much better. This is incredible. Guys, I'm so excited. This is everything I wanted for Christmas. Thank you, Kurt.
All I want for
Christmas
is Kurt.
All I want for Christmas is a sixth generation. Turnbull's ear rang as he moved around the back of the Ford to the sidewalk. The tinnitus blurred the kid's terrified howling. The other cop was lying on his back and twitching like a roach, waving his arms and legs as he tried to catch his breath instead of drawing his own weapon. Turnbull casually killed him with 2 rounds to the face, then turned and opened the passenger side's rear door.
It actually says that.
I didn't make that up. He literally just capped this guy straight up.
Fuck me.
30 seconds. Replacing the Glock in its holster, he unzipped the duffel bag, pulling out the modified M4, leaving its suppressor in the bag. He wanted noise. There was a Magpul mag in already, and a parallel mounted spare. You could see both were full of 5.56 rounds through the smoky plastic. We would love way too detailed description of guns. This is the best we've ever had.
This is amazing, yeah. Because that's the thing, like these guys, they think they're so cool by going into so much detail about a gun, but it makes you look like a fucking dweeb.
Yeah, gun nerds.
Yeah,
he's a gun nerd.
Yeah, I'll give him that. He definitely knows, but that doesn't endear me.
No,
to him.
that
makes
is
him a
worse.
lot creepier. That is worse. Oh yeah,
you need to understand, Kurt. That's
much worse. Yeah.
You creepy bitch. You. 40 seconds. People were watching now, up and down the street, but Turnbull's focus lay elsewhere. He walked back into the road, past the idling cruiser with the black carbine in his right hand, yanking back the charging handle with his left. He let it go, slamming a 5.56 round into the chamber, locked and loaded. Using his thumb, through pure muscle memory, he set the selector switch to auto. 50 seconds. The backup cruiser appeared 10 seconds early, rounding the corner, expecting to assist in an easy score. From their angle, the scene before them was unclear. That lump on the street by the Ford was merely a lump, and would be for a few more seconds until it came into focus. But they didn't have a few more seconds. Turnbull shouldered the carbine and fired a long burst, 7 or 8 shots into the driver's side of the car. The roar was horrendous. He wanted it loud to disorient his targets and to discourage others from intervention. Golden brass spurt from the ejection port like a fountain, and white geysers of pulverized glass danced across the blues windshield. He just cannot call the police. No. He could see shadowy jerking and thrashing inside the passenger compartment. Turnbull unleashed another burst, this time on the passenger side. The cruiser went up on the curb and slammed into a telephone pole. Turnbull fired 2 more long but controlled bursts as he approached. Without pause or even a glance, he dropped the mag from the well and, using the thumb button, reinserted the loaded mag clamped to its side and hit the bolt release. The bolt slammed a fresh round into the chamber. By then he had reached the brutalized, smoking cruiser, his weapon high and ready. The blue cop in the passenger seat was bloody, but still gasping and trying to sit up. So he's gradually moved towards, like blues, pseudo-cops. Blue cop is now acceptable, and soon it will just be execute your enemies, have no regard for human life, kill all who stand before you. Yeah. You just see the progression of the propaganda.
Oh yeah. But you think it's like, well, actually, which side is it that's actually been killing cops?
Nothing is sacred. They're
Look
not
at January
precious
the
about
6th, they
anything.
murder cops. That's what right-wingers do. Look at right-wing militias and shit. They murder each other. Because they're not actually really politically motivated. They're motivated by hatred.
Motivated.
Yeah. It's fucking hilarious though how it's just like, you know, oh, these cops, they thought they'd got an easy score. It's like, yeah, dystopian police. Not not current police. That's not how they literally act now. Like, they don't literally have quotas.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. The fantasy here, again, Joe, remember, this novel is not an eager fantasy of a future that I or any other sane person wants. The fantasy here is not the police being criminal gangs who regularly harass, kill and rob the citizens of the country they're allegedly supposed to be protecting. The fantasy is that a man like Kurt Schlichter, when he is pushed, can whip out his M4 and just massacre them all in the street, get in his car, drive to some safe haven and never face any consequences for it. That's the fantasy. Yeah. When he says this is not a fantasy he wants, this is.
Yes.
This very much is the fantasy he wants to live in, which the men of worth, the real citizens, i.e. people who have served in the military and have super special brain smarts they got from war college like he did, should be allowed to do this because he knows better than them. And if some punk cop who can't even hold a gun properly and who screams when his friend gets killed next to him instead of drawing a pistol and fighting back like a man would, he should be allowed to kill those people.
That whole privilege level shit. So, because it's socialism that says that there's a strata
that we should
of people.
organise human beings by value and numerical. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, that is the thing, as we've always said, whenever they're asked to describe communism or socialism,
they describe capitalism.
They're describing capitalism.
Wish I had my customised M4.
Yeah. I'll leave the suppressor.
Yeah.
I'll go loud and proud. Dick out. It's time to kill some pseudo cops in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, he's doing it too. He's
exactly.
They're gonna kill him in Minecraft, and he's just killing pseudo cops. They're not even really people. Some of them are even black. They have tattoos. People in the military don't have tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, how many tattoos do you think he has? If he's in some elite squadron, does he not have?
Well, he's not in an elite squadron.
Right,
He's
exactly.
in the National Guard, so he probably doesn't have any tattoos because he hasn't fucking earned
He's
them.
never done anything.
Yeah.
An elite doesn't define itself anymore by actually being elite, by actually doing something, by actually earning respect. They think they're just do it. They think it's just a divine right. Do you have to achieve something? Do you have to be smart? Nah.
The blue cop in the passenger seat was bloody, but still gasping and trying to sit up. Turnbull put a burst in his head, and then another in his partner's. Then he turned back to the Ford as onlookers ran and shouted. All Turnbull heard was ringing. Tossing the carbine in the back seat, he got behind the wheel and turned on the ignition. The kid was crying. Every PSF thug on the west side would be inbound when word broke that 4 of their own were down. That might just clear his path out of town. He's rhyming again. It was not far to the freeway, and from there to home. Turnbull pulled out in traffic, and in his mirror saw the locals already scavenging the bodies. You killed them! You killed them! The kid was screaming. Turnbull hit the gas, and the Ford accelerated. Stop talking, he said, but the kid couldn't hear him.
Chapter 2. I'm a bit gutted they don't have chapter titles.
Yeah, it's a shame. There's often a great source of humour. I do just want to say, what an intro that was.
Yeah, I mean, fucking chapter 1.
Yeah, I hope it can keep up that momentum. We're back in kind of Shadow Wolves territory.
We are,
It's
yeah.
like, if you can just keep this going, you're on to a winner here, Kurt. I mean, completely unintentionally, of course.
Yeah, fuck you, Kurt.
Yeah.
From the 97th floor of the Lone Star Tower.
Is that the new Capitol building?
From the 97th floor of the Lone Star Tower, you could see Dallas sprawling out in every direction all the way out to the horizon and beyond.
You could see it beyond the horizon.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's one hell of a view.
That's one hell of a city. The city was a living thing, humming, alive, with people on the sidewalks and cars filling the streets and freeways. To the north, the new Capitol complex was gleaming in the sunlight. The new White House lay a mile away at the other end of the mall.
Texas White House. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. Casablanca.
I love that as well, how like Texas it's seen as like the ultra American section. You do know it's pronounced like Tejas and it's Mexico.
They're living on stolen
Yeah,
land. It's like twice
It's even more stolen than the rest of it.
double stolen. Fuck me.
This was the nerve center of the United States of America version 2.0. I hope that's actually what it's called.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah.
Full time.
Yeah. Turnbull did not feel much more at ease here than on the other side, but then no one was trying to kill him here. So there was that. That would make
That's
you
a
feel more
really
at
fair
ease.
point.
So what you really mean is he did feel more at ease.
Yeah.
I mean,
He very literally was more at ease.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Still, he openly carried a Kimber 1911 45 for his long trip into town. Security took his phone downstairs but made no attempt to disarm him. Don't mess with a man's weapons in the USA. That's how fistfights and civil wars start. Turnbull sipped his coffee and took a seat at the conference table, back to the window and, as always, facing the door. This had better not be a waste of his time. You want to talk about wasting time, Carl? Seriously.
200 fucking... fucking kidding me.
The door opened and Turnbull recognised the first guy to walk in. George V. Ryan. I wonder what the V stands for.
Very. George, very right.
George V. Ryan, looking every bit like the kingmaker he was. Tall, handsome, probably 55-ish. I can only imagine Turnbull as looking like old Michael Ironside. I know he's supposed to obviously with his big tough fucking, but I just imagine as this old bald dude. Or from I Think You Should Leave, you know, the Santa playing the fucking... yeah, Crashmore, yeah. That's him, man. That's him. That's literally him.
No, fuck. I like that gun. You knew I'd like that gun. Yes, the Ching. That's one of the nicest guns I've seen in a long time. I can't wait to shoot that fucker.
Yeah, well, that's what's always so funny about them is they always have the mind of a 73-year-old fucking townhall.com columnist, so they always seem like they're fucking 5 times as old as they actually are.
Usually when you saw him, he was on TV, standing behind the president. His suit probably cost as much as Turnbull's ranch. Wow, this is...
Yeah, we said he was a cowboy.
We did, yeah.
He's got a ranch.
The fact as well that, oh, this is the Utopia, is it?
Yeah.
Where, cause the guy works for the president, his suit probably cost as much as a ranch.
Yeah.
That's good, isn't it? That's equality.
fine.
That's the real equality.
Yeah. Well, Joe, the real equality is rich white people doing as they please and the lesser races knowing their place.
Yeah. So why are they criticising the blue state for having it in all?
Joe, for hypocrisy, the worst crime that can be
Yeah,
committed.
of course it is. Yeah.
I'm just going to execute some police officers. Also, I do just want to say, this is actually just The Stand, isn't it? By Stephen King.
Oh yes, the Boulder Free Zone.
Boulder Free Zone.
Las
And the
Vegas.
Vegas Strip. The Reds are all just shucks.
Yeah, we're just simple folk with our ranches and our customised carbine rifles that we use to murder police with.
Yeah. And then you've just got the Vegas guys who just kind of stand around and don't really do very much.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. So Paradise is just like some rough and ready carpenter who is now the policeman. And we have a committee
That's openly corrupt, by the way.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's just pure nepotism and corrupt.
yeah.
And then the bad guys are just,
Oh yeah, they wear leather and stuff.
Some of them are Italian Americans. It's just like, what? That's basically what this story is.
Yeah,
It's actually just done exactly the same thing.
it has, yeah. The next guy was a young man. Good shape, probably recent military judging by the hair and his general demeanour. There it was, the red star pin on his jacket's lapel. He'd earned his citizenship with military service. The young man looked a little like Ryan, probably his son. A third man entered, smaller, wearing a cryptic smile, looking like he knew things you didn't. Turnbull knew him well, and it figured he'd be wrapped up in this somehow. Hello, Clay, Turnbull said. Clay Deeds nodded and took a seat across the table. Clay Deeds.
The names are really weird.
Hi, Kelly. You look good for a guy everyone on the other side is looking for. Oh, really? Now, why is that? Somebody waxed 4 People Security Force thugs in LA last week. My sources tell me not one of them even got a shot off. Probably militant climate change deniers. Those guys are super bad news.
That's obviously a joke, but like they kept talking about deniers, and I know for a fact that Schlichter is a climate change denier, and he refers to environmentalism as some insane religion. That was presumably what that was about on those signs about report deniers.
Yeah,
So-
right. As much as like this book is quite a lot of fun so far, I fucking hate this Schlichter cunt. He's leaving on Minecraft. It's leaving such a bad taste in my mouth so early on, and I just feel like this is going to be the worst of all of them. This guy is going to be the worst of all of them.
Maybe.
So, do they have my name? No, just a vague description and a blurry security camera photo of some big scary guy. But you'll be happy to know you've inspired a whole new round of internal security arrests. Apparently you're not a loner. Apparently you're part of some giant conspiracy to undermine the legitimacy of the People's Republic. I try to make a difference, but like I said, I totally don't remember anything like that. The dialogue is so well written.
Yeah, it's great.
So he's this big tough fucking Texas rancher. I totally don't remember anything like that. Oh, those guys are super bad news. It's like, why are you talking like that? I thought you're... Whatever. Let me introduce Mr. George Ryan. The George Ryan. He's got a proposition you need to hear. Ryan stood for an awkward moment, assessing his guest. You know me, correct? I know of you. I know you're rich and you're powerful and you have really nice offices near the top of the tallest building in North America. I don't know why I'm here, though I am enjoying this coffee and the view. Well, Mr. Turnbull, you are correct that I am rich and powerful and that these are nice offices.
Fuck,
and I'll...
God, this is bad.
Oh, yes.
I thought the opening stuff was shit. This is a whole new level of shit.
That's the thing, it's like, I guarantee you that opening section is like all he really had in his head. And so he wrote that and then realised he had to write the rest of the book, and so the rest is just going to be padding, basically.
Well, let me allay your fears, Kurt. You did not have to write anymore. You really didn't have to write it.
I have a problem, and you're the only man who might be able to solve it for me. Mr. Deeds tells me you were Army. Afghanistan before the split. You helped grab Fort Hood during the crisis. Fought in southern Illinois and Indiana. Indian country. Behind the lines. Organising and leading guerrillas. You were part of Operation Megiddo. I don't know anything about that, Turnbull said, glancing toward Clay with a frown. That would be totally classified, and anyway, I read that the Israelis took out the Iranian nukes all by themselves.
He went in and he took out the Iranians with the Israelis.
Now, you grew up in California, so you know it well. After the split, you made a lot of runs back over the line before you left government service. Well, official government service, and started doing runs on your own. You cross over and bring people out for money. I love the fact as well that he's like basically a right-wing stalker. Like that, it's like he goes into the zone and it's like, fuck off, like stop co-opting leftist cool shit. Because at the end of the day, there ain't much cool shit that's right-wing. Because right-wingers are not cool people. They're fucking assholes, and they're usually dumb as shit.
Yeah, it's the zone, but instead of like the anomalies and that, they're Latino. It's fucking insane.
Well, we all have to eat, and I'm not an office kind of guy. No, you are most definitely not an office guy, Mr. Turnbull.
Do not repeat back to me what I just said in different fucking words.
I have a prediction at this point.
Okay.
Firstly, from this point on, we're going to get a hell of a lot of boring, pointless, meandering shit that goes nowhere, peppered with little bits of ultra-violent shootouts or whatever. Secondly, you're going to get all the decent bits and I'm going to just get all the bullshit.
Okay, I agree with the second one. I'm going to make it my business to get one. I am going to do what I always do, which is I'm going to take the optimist route, and I'm going to choose to believe that Kurt is not going to let us down. I think we're going to get another Shadow Wars. I think we're going to get exactly what we want. I think that we're going to get a real treat with this one.
Okay.
I have to believe. Thoughts and prayers, please. Please, we need your support.
You're quite impressive. You're also clearly the best at extracting individuals trapped inside the People's Republic, and I now need you to use that skill for me, right now, in the next 48 hours. Go back in right now. See, that conflicts with my calendar. I have a lot of nothing scheduled in my immediate future. I survived doing this work by not pushing my luck. We don't have time to delay, Mr. Turnbull. Tell me, what was it like over there this last run of yours? It was a mess and getting worse. Less food, less fuel, more cops. People were angry. It's falling apart. The whole house of cards is collapsing. Yes, we've been expecting this for years. The People's Republic is imploding, Mr. Turnbull. While we in the US doubled down on what made America great, they doubled down on the blue state socialism that split the country apart. And exactly what we knew would happen is happening. It's a police state that functions only to keep the elite separate from the consequences of its policies. Remind you of anything? They are out of money and they are out of excuses for their people. All they have left are scapegoats. It's going to get very, very ugly very, very soon. It is, and I don't want to be caught in the middle of it when it all goes to hell.
I do just want to say as well, obviously, you know, you can compare this to the way that they always make these kinds of apocalyptic predictions for what would happen if you, like, you know, paid train drivers what they deserve, or, like, allowed people access to a doctor. And it's always, you know, they just run out of money and now everyone's going insane and starving and now they're all fucking dead. Like, that makes any sense. But, like, you compare it to, like, say, for example, the way they try to portray Cuba, and, like, they just conveniently leave out the fact that Cuba has been operating under constant economic sanctions,
like embargoes and blockades
by the Americans. And it's like, are we supposed to believe that the good old US of A red states have not interfered with the blue states in any way to bring about this economic situation? They're their enemies.
Yeah.
They want to undermine them, but I am sure we'll just conveniently walk around that fact. And this is all just the doing of gay socialism that's caused all of this.
My daughter Amanda is over there, Mr. Turnbull, in the middle of a coming chaos we can barely imagine. How did that happen? She defected. She did not defect, interrupted the young man. She's just confused. She's gay, she's going through a phase. They're just very close friends.
So again, like, we can just add Escape from New York into the mix. Can't we? Like, this is going to be the plot of the story. Isn't it?
Mr. Turnbull, this is my son George Jr. His twin sister is Amanda. They were close. George chose to do his military service after college. Amanda went to UT in Austin and then stayed for grad school. Unfortunately, not all of the progressives picked up and headed to a coast after the split. Some stayed here, especially at university. And they are like a cancer. They spread their lies, and some people, like Amanda, get taken in. She decided that all this prosperity and freedom is immoral. She has some friends crossed over a year ago, and we had no idea what happened to her until my sources started telling me she was appearing in PR propaganda. Got a picture? What? A picture of Amanda. I think I might have seen one of her billboards. Oh, she's the blonde woman.
Yeah. He gets a phone call. I need Amanda hug and kiss. Kenny Sanders like, guys, you're not gonna believe this, but I need Amanda hug and kiss. Come on, please.
Hey, just a sec, I'll check. Amanda hug and kiss? Hey, I'm looking for Amanda hug and kiss. Why can't I find Amanda hug and kiss?
Maybe your standards are too high.
Ryan produced his smartphone and found a photo of a pretty blonde girl on a horse. Yeah, that's her. Must have been a real coup for them, having the daughter of a guy like you willing to shit on her own country. I didn't hear about it here.
Whoa. Did he just say he didn't hear about this? Are the news not reporting fairly and freely on political matters in the good old US of A? So she's a rich kid, she's riding a horse. I assume everybody in the US of A is rich enough to ride a horse. Right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they all own ranches. You can buy a ranch for less than the price of a suit.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of her, I assure you, Mr. Turnbull. I'm sorry, but that line as well. I'm not proud of her, I assure you, Mr. Turnbull. I fucking hate my daughter.
Please, don't mistake me. I hate my children. My children suck. This one most of all.
Yeah, this one's the biggest disappointment of all.
Do you think he's going to go with Kelly and they'll become violent lovers?
Yes.
It'll be like Bonnie and Clyde.
Since there's no real direct communication between the two halves of the country anymore, it was fairly easy to use my influence to make sure this did not get out into the media. But regardless, she is still my daughter and I love her and I want you to go in and get her. The way things are at least fucking, but she is still my daughter and I love her and I want you to go in and get her and bring her back home to me.
I need you to go down in the elevator, down to the drive to the border, go across the border, find out where she is across the border. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, Kurt. Maybe while you were fucking around in fucking clown college. Maybe you should have done a fucking English class once, you fucking moron.
Well, how do you know she even wants to come back? I don't. Not for sure. She wants to come home. I know it, George Jr. said. She got confused. I just need to talk to her. She'll see the light and I'll get her to come back with us. Wait one. What?
What did you just... Us? There ain't no us here, kiddo. I go alone.
Wait one. Who exactly is this us he's talking about.
I fly strictly solo.
I work alone.
Did he actually say it?
Yeah.
I did write this book. I wrote this book.
The by myself brand of alone. That's actually in there as well.
I would not have written that.
Oh yeah, I couldn't have made that up.
I literally can't even pretend to do that shit.
I work alone. The by myself brand of alone. Remember the loner part? That's no doubt part of the psych profile Clay there must have given you? That's me. A loner. Ergo. Alone.
So he was a great soldier then, eh?
Yeah. I mean, this sounds like fucking Alan Partridge at this point, doesn't it? Like after he's already said that over and over and over again.
He should just read the Merriam-Webster online dictionary definition of loner. Here's a PowerPoint presentation I prepared earlier for justice eventuality.
You need to take George Jr. with you. Like I said, he's close to Amanda. He can talk sense into her. He can get her to come home. If you tried by yourself, there's no way she would cooperate. She might even hurt you. She seems scary, but I don't need to carry an amateur. My ruck's full enough. George knows how to handle himself. He's a blood citizen. Well, the United States seems like such a paradise, doesn't it? A blood citizen.
They wear red stars for their blood.
Congratulations on getting yourself shot, kid. Hell of a way to earn the right to vote. What a paradise they live in. Now, before we continue, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because we seem to be operating under the unspoken premise that I'm willing to go back in a week after I came out while they're looking for me and go extract a defector who probably doesn't even want to be extracted. And that is a false premise.
You just did the same fucking thing I told you not to.
Oh my
Such
God.
a way with words.
Yeah, what a silver-tongued devil Kelly Turnbull turned out to be. Fuck me.
There's no one else who can do this. I need you, Mr. Turnbull. I appreciate that, Mr. Ryan, but I need me too. Preferably not swinging from some rope off a crane as a spy. Money is not an issue, Mr. Turnbull. I'm sorry, it's just... Usually you say that as a response. You don't have enough to pay me or whatever, you know, I wouldn't do this for any less than that. But he literally said, I'm not doing it because I don't want to get killed. Money's not an issue. No, it is not. Goodbye. What kind of money are we talking about? 500,000. Not enough. You've never gotten more than 500,000 for an extraction. I've also never been asked to do a job by a billionaire. Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan, I'm a capitalist, and if I was doing this job, I would charge what the market would bear, and I think it would bear, say, 5 million.
Sorry, did you just I'm a what, sorry?
I'm a capitalist. Would you do it for 5 million? I would sure think about doing it for 5 million. See, that would pretty much set me up to retire, and I could stop going back and risking my ass to solve other people's problems. Mr. Turnbull, I'll pay you 5 million to do it. One in advance, but there are conditions. You will take George Jr. with you, and if you do not recover her relatively intact, you forfeit the remaining 4 million. Relatively intact. Okay. So we can cut her legs off.
What percentage of her? Jesus Christ. Like I said, I hate my children.
Relatively intact. Okay, but I have conditions too. First, I take Junior here to the range tomorrow and decide whether I'm willing to have him tag along. He does what I say when I say it. Agreed. I want to hear Junior say it. Junior, did you understand?
George Very Junior. George is about to get a very
Yeah, I understand chain of command. I was a lieutenant. Oh good, a lieutenant. That's reassuring. Which brings me to another thing that's been gnawing at me. Why is there a spook here? I'm just here to assist. This is a private transaction. The government is not involved. Of course. Oh, of course not.
One thing I love about this is because he's playing into the whole trope of like the stoic American hero who gets the job done even when the goddamn Washington bureaucrats don't have the stomach to stand by the people who do the job at hand. You know, all this shit. He's trying to simultaneously simultaneously portray the red states as they clung to the old American values and that they doubled down and became an even better place to be in comparison to the evil socialist blue states. But he also wants to portray Turnbull in opposition to the shadowy CIA, corrupt governments and the billionaires.
But that is the USA.
Then how the fuck is America good in any way if they're still all just running everything? What was wrong with what it used to be, and how have you fixed it and doubled down and made it better? So what you mean by doubling down is those people have twice as much money, twice as much undue influence and power now. You've got two different kinds of shitty America. That's it. But I'm supposed to just believe one is better than the other because diversity is in the other. So it's just pure racism. That's it.
Ryan sat down across from Turnbull. You'll do it if your spy friend here can get me what I need. And if what he tells me doesn't lead me to think that I'm not coming back relatively intact. Thank you, Mr. Turnbull. I'll have my people start making the arrangements. And Junior, tomorrow, my ranch at 9 a.m.
Don't bother packing underwear. It'll only get in my way.
George Jr. nodded. His father rose out of the chair and George Jr. followed him to the door.
His Baron
Basically, yeah, I mean...
We're knee deep in a training's blood! We've got them!
Bring my daughter back to me safe, Mr. Turnbull. Please. I'll do my best. They went out the door, leaving Turnbull and Clay at the table alone.
Turnbull and Clay.
Fucking Tango and Cash. Turnbull and Clay.
Turner and Hooch.
Why are you involved in this, Clay? Well, let's just say that Mr. Ryan has a lot of friends in high places and those friends have my phone number. You should be happy. You can retire after this one. There's a big empty space I gotta fill between the agreeing to do it part and enjoying the money part. Just a bit of one. So, what the hell happened in Los Angeles? You've always been a shoot first then shoot again kind of guy. But for blue cops? I deny all knowledge of any violence, said Turnbull. But PSF aren't cops. They're glorified muscle. All the real cops picked up and left with the rest of us.
Do you remember that part at the beginning in his little manifesto?
Yes, I do.
He was going on about accountability and power.
Exactly.
What he's saying is that US government agents should act independently and with impunity and commit any crime and simply deny all knowledge and therefore then not be held accountable for committing crimes. I don't know how high a level Kurt thinks this should go. I'm a civil servant and I work in Whitehall. I go on holiday to France and shoot 6 policemen and then I just come back and someone goes, Jesus Christ, what have you done? And I just go, I deny all knowledge, boss. And they just go, there's simply nothing we can do. This is the good old US of A. And then they just get on with it. Where is the accountability and the checks and balances? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
No.
Where's that all gone, Kurt? Where'd that go?
All the real cops picked up and left with the rest of the working people after they saw how things were going to go.
Cops are not working people.
Yeah, firstly, cops are not working
working
people. And secondly, I don't think you get to just decide that, do you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the real cops, they agree with
the
me.
real ones.
So
tell me.
So cops who don't agree with me aren't real cops.
Therefore not real. Yeah, it's just the no-shoe Scotsman.
Yeah. It's like, you're just a fucking cunt, mate.
Yeah. If I like them, that renders them a real one. Yeah. And if I don't like them, they are no longer a real one. But remember, Joe, facts don't care about your feelings.
So you've got a few rich people, a lot of poor people, and an army of thugs keeping them apart. I genuinely can't tell which
one
side
are you
you're speaking
about?
I think it started as a shakedown, but what was weird was that they were mad, Clay. Usually when they shake you down or rip off your stuff, it's just business. But these guys were angry. Everyone's pissed. It's falling apart over there. So what are you suggesting? Some sort of people's revolution?
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to tell me where are the chafing points in the red states? Is everyone happy there?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because I've already seen that there are some obvious clear inequalities. So like, what should we do to improve the red states too, Kurt? Want to explain that? I don't have time for that. I need to go to a place where there is no law and order and I can shoot minorities whenever I like. But it's not a fantasy. It's not a fantasy I want to happen. No, definitely not. Come fuck on, mate.
We always knew the blue model would fail. We kept the farms and the fuel, and they kept the mouths to feed in the big coastal cities. They won't exploit their resources. They still buy most of their energy and food from foreigners.
I've just realised. It's like China with greenhouse gases. The red states have just offset all of their poverty out to the coastal areas, and now they're just blaming all of the poor people for their own fucking suffering.
Yeah, I mean, that does sound exactly right, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what they did. And now it's the great split when they all wanted to go their own way. You just pushed all these people out to the coasts, withdrew all federal support, and now you're just like, look at the states, all full.
Yeah, I mean, if this, if this were to match reality in any way, that's exactly what would have happened. They still buy most of
Sorry, that
noise.
What was that? Anyway, carry on.
They picked on the people who did the hard work, and those people came here. We told people here that if you don't work, you don't eat. And the ones who wanted handouts picked up and went blue. I think we got the better part of that deal. I think you're a cunt, Kurt. Fuck you. Yeah, the People's Republic is what happens when you let movie stars and college professors pick the government. Those socialist bastards may suck at most everything, but they are good at the oppressive arts. Our people keep getting swept up, but they are focused inwards. It's part of a factional power play. They aren't looking for you to come back and bring something out for us. Is this girl that important? No, she's just a stupid girl who went to college and got stupider. Oh, the story in the world. Yeah, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you, Kurt?
Also, I just want to say, just to point out at this point, there hasn't been a single woman in this book except for the one poor woman that he chucked the phone to.
Yeah.
I am dreading what women are going to be.
Oh, God, I'm dreading
this.
him interacting with women.
Yeah, like we're going to have an Ellen Chapini.
Yeah.
Who's just perfect in every way because she's just one of the boys, and then all the other women will be stupid, ditzy idiots who think that money just grows on trees. They're socialist fantasy.
Yeah.
Why don't you go home and have a few babies? Slaps her and she just goes, yes, sir.
Yeah. You fixed me of my lesbianism.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to happen, isn't it?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh no, that's going to happen.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. No, there's something over there we really want and we need you to walk it out. Can you tell me what this mystery MacGuffin is? Data on a hard drive some of our friends on the other side liberated. What kind of data? Classified. I still have my clearance. You know I'm still in the reserves like every other citizen who's too young for a walker. We got a source inside the We got a source inside of the Oh god, it's PBI, but I just We've got a source inside the PBI HQ, and the source tore out a hard drive. It's got the files on there inform us. It's gold. Every narc, weasel, and snitch on the West Coast. I'd like to just point out that narcs, weasels, and snitches are all the same thing. Every narc, weasel, and snitch on the West Coast on one little hard drive. Okay, but why walk it out? You can plug it in, go online, and transmit it to some foreign country, then back here to get around the E-blockade. The E-blockade.
They got all these like digital shit.
Yeah. The fucking E-blockade. It's like Tron, but they're like shit. Yeah, because those evil socialists in the Blue People's Republic, they have E-blockades against us, while we merely have literal blockades against our enemies, starving them to death. And then we criticise them for letting their citizens starve, while our citizens also starve, not because of a blockade, purely because of capitalism.
Because we don't care about certain people.
Yeah. So basically, I'll square you away to go in, and all you do is make a quick stop with a contact in LA on your way home, pick up my hard drive and bring it out along with the girl, and you get your millions and I get my data, and everyone's happy. It sounds so simple and easy. So why are there hairs standing up on the back of my neck? Because you're not a fool. I would hard disagree with that. If it falls apart while you're over there, you could get caught up in the reckoning. Plus, as soon as it goes bad in the blue, we're sealing the borders. Now, you'll have a primary and supplemental re-entry point and we'll be waiting for you. But if a couple million blue staters start marching our way determined to leave the nest they shit in to come here and shit in ours, all bets are off.
What the fuck is
this? Is incredible. Yeah. Well, let's just hope they can hold their shit together for a week or two so I can get paid. Clay sat back and smiled. Try not to get killed, Kelly. You're extremely useful. Useful, huh? Carve that on my tombstone.
I fucking hope so.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Now I've got to read more. Please be a short chapter. Oh, it's a really short chapter. Excellent. Chapter 3. Kelly Turnbull's ranch was about 500 acres in the dry hills some 90 miles southwest of Dallas, far away from annoyance and inconveniences like cities and highways and other people. To call it a ranch would be a misnomer. You just called it a ranch.
You repeatedly
you
called
keep calling it a ranch. I didn't call it a
You've
ranch.
only referred to it as a ranch. Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck are you talking about?
To call it a ranch would be a misnomer. There were old stables, but he had no horses or livestock. The only occupied structure was the white one-story house, small but sturdy, and he had done much of the renovations himself. I just imagine it like in Unforgiven.
You know, you don't have a straight angle in that whole goddamn porch. Or the whole house, for that matter.
He sat on the porch drinking coffee, his stupid dog curled up beside him.
So he hates the dog. The dog's stupid now.
What you got against dogs, Kurt? It was nearly useless, that dog. A light brown mix who had no real purpose except to mooch food and demand attention. It had followed him home one day and he had never bothered to chase it away. Maybe his time in cities had made him soft, he reflected. The damn thing couldn't even be bothered to kill rats.
Sorry, but what the hell is the idea he's trying to get across there? That's the problem with Americans, is that we're too soft and we let them come in and mooch.
Yes.
Because we like to have a pet around.
Is
that the point
think
he's
that's
trying
what
to
he's
make?
saying, yeah.
Does he realise?
Or whether he realises.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
His smartphone pinged. A vehicle had entered the property and was coming down the driveway. The time was 08:45 hours, a good sign. Somewhere along the line, some NCO had taught Lieutenant Ryan that if you weren't 15 minutes early, you were already late. Junior pulled up in a tan late model BMW 6 Series. Pricey. You had to get it from Cuba because of the EU boycott of the racist, imperialist and insufficiently Islamicist subservient United States. Kurt.
What the fuck?
Kurt, you know you're a cunt, don't you? You don't need me to tell you
You're
that.
a cunt. And you know you are.
Yeah, it's The Handmaid's Tale, but as if
Gilead is
were,
a good place. Yeah, like for fuck's sake.
Cuba, having finally tossed out its communist government with just a little bit of help from the United States, Turnbull savoured the memory of the rum. Was now growing rich, selling to the Americans what the Europeans refused to sell them directly.
Yeah, money talks.
Exactly.
Cuba must be better now because it's making money
because
for America.
A handful of billionaires fucking destroyed
Because the
it.
mafia's back, baby.
Junior wore tan combat boots, khaki tactical slacks. Tactical slacks. That's amazing.
They cost 3 times the amount as normal slacks, but they make him run faster. He was wearing wraparound orange tactical sunglasses, which made him think faster.
He carried an HK style USP in 45, perhaps likewise bought through Cuba, but more likely built at one of the weapons plants dotting the southern states. The few gun makers left in blue states at the start of the crisis had been among the first to depart after the split. So, I'm here. Let's go shoot. Follow me. The dog watched them go. There was no way he was leaving the shade. Fuck this dog. I hate this dog.
I hope the dog dies.
Fucking cunt of a dog.
Towards the end of the story, he'll be stood there and then the dog will be stood beside him. You just couldn't leave it alone, could you, Turnbull?
There were dozens of boxes of ammo and a stack of empty magazines that they proceeded to fill. The Glocks are simple, reliable, and shoot 9mm. Probably the easiest round to find on the black market over there. Clay used his intel connections to get us a couple of modified ones from the Special Ops guy's secret stash. 6th generation. Special hand grips. Improved slide. We'll each take 10 mags plus 1 in the gun. They aren't flashy on the outside and some cops still carry them, so it's a good, relatively inconspicuous choice. The M4s are an improved version of a time-tested weapon. You guys on active duty still use them. Full auto, of course. They dropped them off yesterday afternoon. They're clean. They can't be traced to the US. You need to get the Glocks.
Sorry? I'm listening.
im Herzen Wunder.
Sind im Herzen Schuhe, sind im Herzen Schuhe, sind im Herzen Schuhe, Schubidu.
Paris Girls sind hitzig, dank dir, du seist so witzig. Sie versprechen dir für immer da zu sein. Doch sie sind solche Dieben, möchten sich gar nicht verlieben, brechen Herzen ohne Skrupel, ganz gemein.
Brace yourself. Kelly Turnbull's in the house. This is Kurt Schlichter. Adios.